if you guys have your Twitch Prime sub available. You can subscribe with Twitch Prime, you can donate, you can share. All of it helps to support the stream. All of it helps to keep us bringing you guys StarCraft 2 content on a regular daily basis, as well as all the rest of it. So good to be back, though, is the moral of the story. We go from an epic TVZ at the end of the last series to what could be an epic TVZ at the start of this series. Game 1 of this fresh new best of 7. To the top right-hand side, our blue Zerg is Impact. Going up against the teal Terran to the bottom left from Psystorm Gaming, this is GuMiho. Now, the one thing that I was also going to say about trying to stream every day is that if, for example, I have to cast on ByuN one day, I'm going to count that as like a day done, although I will always try and, for example, if I cast on ByuN, I'll always try and stream a little bit on my own channel as well. But the whole idea is to cast or stream every day, so that's the plan. And the other thing is, obviously, if, everything could go wrong too. Maybe a big event gets announced in December and I get hired to cast it. I'll have to go cast that, guys. But realistically speaking, that's not going to happen. So it should be good. We should be able to stream most days. I'm really excited to do it. I'm excited for it, motivated. I'm very, very ready. So it should be awesome. Can stream from home. Story code, just set up a camera in the bathroom so we can watch Sansa after 3 vodkas. Aye. I mean, obviously I'm going to be casting a home story cup. A little bit on the main stream. I might make an appearance on the ByuN B stream. Couple links coming down the south side, as we do see a command center first opening from GuMiho is now going into an orbital. I mean, this was a pool first from Impact, so it's a little bit of a shame because pool first is not good against CC first. Because pool first is meant to get there while the CC is still building, but the CC building faster means that the slings do not arrive in time. So very unfortunate little startup from Impact, who does hurt his own economy a little bit to not really get much done at all. GuMiho will not send his Reaper across the map either, so his slings will really just be very unfortunate in terms of what can be done there. 2 factories on the way up from GuMiho, so already we're going to see him playing a mech-based style, at least what you would expect it to be. Reaper still just patrolling at the front. There's the Lings. Actually, we'll get Ling speed, and, well, this is obviously an opportunity to get something done here. Ling speed being done a little bit earlier. This wasn't just pool first, it was a gas pool into a hatch, so Ling speed actually will get him a few SCV kills. That's 3 now, going up to 4. So 4 workers killed already. Good shot by Impact, who comes up this ramp and, well, tries to nibble his way through this SCV. Depot will fall, and a couple more Hellions on the way out. We did see the Ling C in the second factory, right? So Impact already knows double factory here, and so a response to this, a Rotron, would be very common, a very simple way to respond and to be very safe against this. Don't need it just yet, though. For now, Queens and Lings will get the job done, but you will still eventually end up in a Rotron here. As for the moment, just that hatchery coming up towards the 3rd base. So hatchery coming up on the 3rd base, that gets set up and ready to go. As, yeah, there's that Rotron we were just talking about. So Impact starting to build up into those potential roaches. I wonder what, he did build a second reactor here, so it is going to be Hellion and Cyclones, which means that it isn't just going to be pure Hellions, in which case a big roach attack could do quite well. He has got a lot of gas impact, so we'll see what he does with this, but I'm not expecting anything other than just a few roaches for defense, and still kind of building up the drone count here as we go. What's up, Wumbo Time? Coming in with that Twitch Prime resub for the 3 months in a row as well. Thank you so much, dude. Hey, yo. Hey, yo. How you doing? Thank you so much for the 3-month resub on that Twitch Prime. Only 7 subs away from hitting back to 300, which is, well, it's been a big drop-off, obviously, but something we can definitely fight back from. So 7 subs away from hitting 300 and really starting our journey back towards 500, which is our goal for the end of the year. We want to end the year on 500 subscribers. That's the target. And preferably not just 500 subscribers that are just made up from gifted subs, from people that really want to put in their money to support the stream and stuff. That's the goal. We'll see how it goes. As a Banshee comes up here from GuMiho. And it's going to be Hellion, Cyclone, Banshee. Interesting little setup then. I'm surprised he has the gas to go double Cyclone and Banshee Cloak. I guess because he won't have the gas to make any more than these first 2 Cyclones. So, you know, instead of making Cyclones 3 and 4, you'll just make more Hellions because the gas has gone into Banshees and Cloak and all of that. So, I guess it makes sense. It actually gives him a pretty powerful army on the ground, the Hellions to support the Cyclones. And then a couple of Banshees to kind of come in and add some extra damage from the skies as well. See how well it will do is right now a Barracks high ground vision being used to get rid of an Overlord. Those Cyclones picking up a kill, and just 4 Hellions and 2 Cyclones moving out, although the rest are not too far behind, starting to move forwards now. Single Zerglin's about to dive the natural, but 2 Hellions should shut that down pretty much immediately. And I mean, what do you gain from seeing that? Not really a lot. You know there's Hellions being made, etc. The scan will get this Overlord low of the Cyclones. Will it get the kill? Just, but really only just. And as we see, just cleaning out some creep spread. GuMiho looking to just ascertain map control in the very early stages of this game 1 of the best of 7. 2 refineries on the way up from GuMiho, and the natural expansion obviously still sticking with the mech-based style means it's going to be very gas heavy, and that's what he's heading towards. The Banshees are heading straight towards the 3rd base where Spore Crawler has just finished. There is detection as Overseers too. So detection aplenty, but definitely locations mean straight away. Banshees 1, 2, 3 kills, and they go in for 4, but they didn't actually try to commit long enough. Now he runs by Hellions into the natural where drones are already running away. This makes it 10 lurkers killed in total here in recent times. He finds a few more drones in the back lines which are stacked up, but now not target firing. But the Banshee's coming back in, making this 16 kills, and again just dodging away from Queens, and Overseers the best he can. So altogether makes this work pretty nicely, and that's 16 worker kills there to put Impact down quite heavily actually. So GuMiho putting himself in a good little position to begin with here. 3rd CC about to finish, a 4th CC starts to build in location. GuMiho with no fear at all against this Roach Ravager army. Probably because he does just have Banshees on the map, and he has a good amount of them, although then you actually have to question, well, will the Queens not just come across the map? I mean, they're starting to. Obviously, GuMiho has a belief he'll be able to hold on nonetheless. He still is just producing Banshees, and then he has these 2 reacted factories, which are yet to really be put back into use. He'll start up a couple more Cyclones now, which does seem somewhat important. Impact not fully committing to this attack. He's droning behind it, and we'll see how far forwards he comes. As we do have this barracks, we'll see a little bit of this attack coming in. Hellions have ran by into the 3rd base, and they morph into Halberds, which has forced some of the Roaches and Ravagers to turn around and come this way. And try and get this Queen that's hiding behind the mineral line, but won't be too successful. In the meantime, though, drones are being roasted. Where was that? Was this just down here? Oh my god, Hellions just ran by. Oh my god, Impact loses 18 workers. That's purely because he pulled the drones away from the 3rd base, and those Hellions were running by at the same time. Good little bit of multitasking there by GuMiho, and kind of forcing the drones to go one place, taking advantage of it with another group of units. It's a really kind of, well, very solidly sound tactical decision there. As we see, the Banshee count is insane. He actually instantly kills a Queen. No transfusions being used at all. Big mistakes here out of Impact. He already losing a lot of workers, now losing his army on the map, and losing really all potential he had of perhaps doing something across. These Banshees will chase this army away. They don't have Hyperflight Rotors, so they're not super quick or anything. They can't catch up, but they will stop to clean out some of this creep spread, which will be very effective as well. And, well, they're overkilling creep tumors at the moment, but they will now start to split up, and to do that a little bit better, clean up as much creep as they can. And again, the more creep you clean up right here, the better this is for you. Now it's 4 Banshees against 2 Queens. Crows of Baals are not necessarily going to be the answer to this. There's a couple of Queens in the back as well, which will help. Banshees decided to just get out of there. There's more Cyclones coming up to join them, but a Roach counterattack now comes around the left-hand side of the map. So Impact is going to keep this going, coming around the left to see just where he can go and what he can do. And actually, this 3rd base is completely undefended, so Roaches arrive, and, well, it's all about the other side of the map right here. If GuMiho had pushed forwards, I mean, there's not really that much from Impact, so maybe he could have got something done. He will pull back home, though, to clean up these Roaches, which have picked off 11 workers. That's going to put Impact, despite all the damage he's taken, right back into the worker lead. Look at that, that's 21 workers killed. I mean, you could have just pulled away towards the natural, and, I mean, I know the Cyclone was picking up damage, but it really doesn't feel like it was worth losing 21 workers when it could have been so much less. And, you know, eventually your army's coming back anyways. Wow, that was a really nice attack there by Impact, and that actually completely turns this game on its head once again, because suddenly the advantage that was here is now gone. It falls away quite drastically, as we see Roaches just going to keep on coming around the left-hand side from Impact, and to the bottom side, another couple of Banshees and a Cyclone picking away at another Roach. These units down here from GuMiho, well, a couple of them going to turn around already. Some of these Roaches in a little bit of trouble now. So Roaches getting picked off quite quickly. To the top side, more Roaches running by, and a couple more SCVs going down as well. 3-4 workers. A Mule dropping down as well. More Cyclones showing up from the right-hand side, and again, pushing those Roaches away. Hellions coming and chasing this down as well. And a good job done by all of these units here, as GuMiho will defend. Still, another 6 SCVs lost. Impact. I mean, it's good for Impact, but it's not amazing, because he was in a much worse position. And that kind of is still showing, because he is only equal on the work account, where he'd usually like to be ahead. He's down on army supply, down on upgrades, with a roach-heavy army. I mean, he's going into Hydras now, which is definitely a bit of a difference, and definitely makes his army a little bit better overall, and you know, it means the supply value of the army is a lot more effective. As we are going to be seeing these Cyclones coming up the right side, and I mean, that's the kind of weird thing as well, I guess. I mean, we see now some of these siege tanks starting to come out, but it was just Cyclones up until now, so it's been a bit of a weird kind of mech composition, maybe not the best. As we do see, well, these Cyclones are going huge. The Queens are just being picked off by the Banshees, so this base is dead. There's nothing you can do to save it. This Ravager goes down as well. I mean, there's actually nothing you do to save this base. It just dies. And that's something you just have to accept right there. Now the Banshees go towards the main base. There's just so many of them. It's getting out of control. Although there is Hydras out on the map. It's just they don't seem to be on the right places at the right times. The Spore Crawler goes down, but here we go. Finding some Hydras showing up. And we'll see these Banshees just going to run right away. Not going to waste any time at all. Corrosive Bars pushing back a couple of those Cyclones as well. Fourth base on this left side is continue to be harassed here and there, but for the most part defended as a few Hellions came in. I think it was just a couple of Lings here or something. As we'll still see those Hellions pushing up the left side. +2 vehicle weapons is halfway done. +2 vehicle plating is just now starting. Hellions and tanks from GuMiho continue to come into play. More Banshees down at the bottom. Cyclones continue to gather together as well. And we are going to be seeing, well, Hellions are still doing a pretty good job. 10 workers killed. Damn, 12 workers killed in the end. Very nicely done, as we're going to be seeing these Vipers getting back to work on this hatchery and just getting their energy going so that they can really become useful in these future fights, have the energy on themselves. But GuMiho leading, and has been leading for a while, looking very good. And do we dare to look at the resources lost, guys? Let's have a look at it. Okay, it's not that terribly different, but it is definitely very good for the Terran player, considering that if we look at the income tab here, it's been very GuMiho favored for the most part. So not only is GuMiho trading better, he's mining a lot more as well, and that combination is really, really awesome, obviously. Cyclones gathering up towards the right side, and we do see a few Banshees coming up this right-hand side as well. To the left, we have Hellions and tanks moving out as we see a few SCVs are going to surround this Cyclone already. One of these Cyclones getting repaired back up towards full health. Oh, nice Parasitic Bomb to help against the Banshees, forces a bit of a split away. Now the Queen's coming in to help out too, and oh, one Banshee goes down, the rest of them, oh my god, there's a Parasitic Bomb in every single Banshee here! Every Banshee will go down. That Banshee hit squad is now dealt with. However, it means the Vipers are out of energy. Maybe this is an opportunity for GuMiho to push forwards, but suddenly he has to back away because Impact's already ready to fight him. I mean, GuMiho was pushing very far on the creep, and I just don't think he's used to having the Zerg army be ready to kind of greet him. He's just been so confident throughout this game with the lead he's had, but what a disastrous move out this has been. A huge kill for commitment, and suddenly GuMiho is down by 20 supply, and he has just lost pretty much everything in the mech army, tanks included, reinforcing tanks being picked off as well, and Impact is right back into this game. Alright, well all of a sudden Impact completely turns this around. The Banshees aren't here to harass any longer. The tanks are dead. The Banshee again getting picked off, and there's units left over to pick away at this base. And this left-hand side base is going to be dropping down once more. At least the workers will be. And the workers are obviously something which have been killed off on this side of the map so many times this game. And abduct on one siege tank here, and then on a siege up tank as well. It should go down. A few more roaches reinforcing this Parasitic Bomb on the Banshee in the skies. Help kill it off a little bit faster. 16 workers killed. Ravagers morphing in. And Impact is still on the forefront here, as GuMiho is going to be absolutely 100% regretting that decision to move so far forwards, so confidently. Impact was ready with the Vipers and the army, and boom, it's completely turned this game 180 on its head, because now we see Roaches and Hydras. Well, another base open to attack for them. The Viper's just going to abduct some of these Cyclones in here so the Roaches and Ravagers can just get the job done nice and easily. Corrosive Baths keeping the rest of them at bay every now and then. I mean, again, it's a mineral line that's being cleaned out. Across the map, the Hellions do a good job. A little bit of a counter. 10 workers go down. It's nothing compared to the 25 SCVs and an orbital command that will fall from GuMiho. And GuMiho is running out of ways to play in this game now. You don't see many games turn around this quickly from one player to the other so heavily as well. But this was all turned around in one very quick, brisk fight. And it just has not stopped from there. Once he's got the momentum, he has not let it go. Impact keeping hold of everything he can now and cleaning out these Cyclones too. And that's going to mean that these mules on the left side are going to be in some trouble. This Banshee comes in again, and well, maybe this Hydra count isn't good enough right now. The Cyclones will start to overwhelm, and it's time for Impact to back away. He's backing away into a 30 worker lead, an army supply lead, upgrades which are about to be very competitive in the game as well. Everything going smoothly for Impact, and Titan X1 might, in the end, after all the downs they've been seeing in this game, they may end up 1-0 up at the start of this Team League matchup. Best of 7. Wow. Crazy. Alright, well, 4 more Cyclones on the way out, 5 more Hellions coming through as well. GuMiho still gathering everything together at the moment, a base on the far right-hand side. Also established here. Banshee is going to be chased away by those few Hydras, and we are just going to be seeing the few more Overseers coming into play, make sure those Banshees are not going to become a problem, because GuMiho is still building them. He is still trying to rely on them to get him back into this game a little bit. What are the teams? If you just joined us, the teams here for this matchup are Impact, aLive, and Bunny, taking on GuMiho, ByuN, and Patience. Army supplies are still kind of similar here, so for all I've been hyping up Impact's position in the game, if GuMiho wins a fight right now, there's a possibility that he's still in this to some extent. He did just kill off 8-9 workers. He's going to kill this right-hand side base, but he has to win with this army. Like, rebuilding for GuMiho is not really an option. Here we go, these Hellions at the front, and actually this is a very Hydra-heavy force. The Hellions will do pretty well. Spinecrawler goes down, the Hellions doing quite good, but Hydra count going down a little bit. Army supplies, now they're starting to be a little bit more in favor of Impact again, and it looks as though Impact will be able to keep turning around and fighting this. For a moment or so, I had a little tiny amount of hope here. I had a small amount of belief. 21 workers go down. It's not a bad attack by GuMiho, but again, it was everything he had to give here, because he didn't have an economy of his own. He's now 8 workers down, but he's also 36 army supply down, because he threw everything into this fight, and he gave everything up because he knew this was so important of a moment in the game if he wanted to try and win this still. It's not going to happen, unfortunately. As it stands, Impact has way too much on the map. He still has the Vipers to utilize as well. So he has Abducts, he has Blinding Clouds. They can manipulate the engagements into his favor, and as he manipulates them into his favor, obviously it becomes more and, well, more and more favorable for him. Naturally, as Roaches and Hydras just cleaned up a couple depots, Impact just maybe waiting for another couple rounds of units. Without a 4th base being available for GuMiho, Impact knows he's still pretty fine, because he's on 4 bases of his own, he's on a good drone count, he's mining comfortably. Okay, that Hellion's a little bit of an annoyance, yes, no one's going to deny that, but on the rest of the front, well, this Hellion goes down, and those drones pull him back towards this right side base. Finally, this Hellion gets dealt with. 7 drones go down. It's annoying, actually, because Impact did just build up about 7 more workers to solidify a 20-ish worker lead. That kind of disappears a little bit now. But again, the army is here. It's doubling the supplies. Yes, it may be roach heavy, but when you look at the army of the Terran player, it's like a few Cyclones and, well, it's a few Cyclones. 7 Cyclones and a Hellion. There's no splash damage in this. It's just Cyclones are so powerful, but not when you go into this kind of setup of units, when it's this number of units against the other number of units. As we're going to be seeing some couple of changelings going down again. Here we go through the center of the map. Impact going to try and see what he can do in the next couple of moments. Here we go. A couple of Abducts straight away onto the Cyclones already. And the Cyclones aren't even allowed to fight all together at once. And that's GG. Impact will take game number 1. And Titan X1 will take the lead in this series as GuMiho. But of course, if tomorrow's stream's kind of short because there's only a couple best of 7s and they're kind of shorter games or something, which is a possibility, maybe we change up the format in which we do it or something. I'm not 100% sure just yet, but I'm sure we'll figure it out. Alright guys, a little bit of chatting at the start of this, but let's go into it and introduce the players. Bottom right hand side, the green Protoss player. This is Patience, representing ByuN and the kids, who are 1-0 down in this best of 7. To the top left, their opponent, or his opponent right now, is aLive, the red Terran player from Titan X1, the only actual team in this team league, which is kind of cool that they are a team, but obviously in a way kind of sad that there's no proper teams, I guess. I mean, you could have made some teams, like Splice could have had a team where like Stats and TY teamed up and maybe picked up like 1 extra player or something, but they all went for these kind of fun little names and stuff. So again, ByuN and the kids. As a fun little name. If you're not aware of the other teams in this league, we had like 94 Fam was a bunch of players that were born in the year 1994. Innovation One-Man Team is a team. Slenders and Bugs is a team. They were playing in the last series. Kim Dong-ho is a team that was kind of funny. The only team that was eliminated before today was Group Assignment. That was players who had done their military service, which was like Tasia, Fantasy, and Parting. Pretty fun in general, as we do set up with a bit of a mind game here from aLive in the early stages as Patience scouts. He's maybe not completely convinced, and he is going to look around, but he will miss the factory and the barracks that are just set up over here. So it's not actually a proper proxy, more like just a hidden set of structures to kind of mind game Patience. And it will make him go into a second gas as Zealot, which is somewhat useless because there's not really any early aggression to deal with here. So that's 100 minerals that wasn't really needed to be spent. As you do see the Cybernetics core on the way down, and that finishes up to allow the warp gate to get started. So warp gate starting up right now as this adept being chrono boosted out is going to jump on top of that Zealot in the next few moments. This probe comes forward, throws down the pylon. We are going to be seeing the starport coming down now. Aha! Oh, sorry, was that Patience that saw that? No, it was the Reaper, right? Well, he did see the Reaper for a second there, so he realizes something must be around. He sees everything now. Well, he doesn't see the barracks, but probably assumes that it was here as we see the factory, though. And you just also see the starport building just off to this side. Reaper comes in and will clean up the probe, but does force the Reaper to come back, right? So by forcing the Reaper to come back just a little bit, it gives you a bit more time to set up against it at home. And, well, Patience throws down his Nexus, so you still will be faster to expand, and we'll see just what comes of this starport and factory. Looks as though it is just going to be Cyclones and a Medevac, which is a fairly common way to get going in the early stages. We do see this Adept just going to be shading across the map here. The Cyclone going to be arriving in the natural expansion any second now as the Reaper comes in and starts to pick its way through that pylon. Adept and the Zealot. I mean, there's no shield battery on this low ground yet. With a Cyclone here as well, it makes this a bit more difficult, so Patience maybe in a little bit of trouble. That pylon will go down. Okay, Patience is in some trouble. This Adept is starting to shade back home. He needs to be able to fight this. Oracle about to pop out, and that will be Chrono Boosted to get it out here ASAP. I mean, I guess you get the Oracle out, you can target down the Cyclone. One Cyclone's anti-air will not kill an Oracle very quickly at all. Phoenix comes in. Phoenix are very good against the Cyclones, lifting them up, nullifying all that damage they can do. There you go, Cyclones just lift up though, and now this Oracle's wasted a lot of energy. Cyclones drop right back down, and they're going to keep on pressuring this natural expansion. As we do see the Reaper cleaned up in the main base, but dragged units out of position for a moment. This Nexus is still taking quite some damage. This Nexus is still taking quite a few shots here, as we do see the Zealot comes forward, but the Cyclones are able to lift. Will jump up towards the main base, and it's the Phoenix that will really start to make this more of an issue, because once that Cyclone is lifted, obviously you can't really do much to save it any longer unless you kill the Phoenix, but there's no way. Again, one Cyclone is going to do that on its own. Medevac would have been protected by the Widowmine here if it needed to get away if the Phoenix had given chase, but that's not the case. Brings the Widowmine a bit further forward, and he's still committing to this right now. Starts to target the Stalker down, knowing that if a Cyclone's in the sky, the Stalker's the one thing that can really do something about that. Viking wants to slip into the main base here. Landed Viking will two-shot a probe because it gets bonus to mechanical damage. So it's the only work rate actually two shots. And that's the goal right now with this Viking, as we do see Cyclones locking on. Has to lift up. Widowmine goes off on an Adept. I mean, now this Medevac's in some trouble though. Oh, no, Widowmine goes off on the Oracle, which is nice, but then he actually friendly fires down the Medevac as well. So Patience is a bit like ... and I mean, honestly, it didn't seem all so bad for Patience. He killed off absolutely everything here. Lost an Oracle, but not the end of the world. I'd imagine the Oracle would have been much more important in other circumstances. Like right now, I feel like losing the Oracle is okay. Oh my god, even I couldn't see that Widowmine there. As the other Adept gets targeted down. Patience had no chance of seeing that. He will clean it up with the Zealot, but just watching the Phoenix to see them try and take an opportunity. Natural expansion of aLive is going to lift and move down to the low ground. He's 4 workers behind, which is fine for TVP. He has been long distance mining for a little bit though, so his income definitely a little bit below what he'd like it to be. This will even out in a moment though. However, 4 workers going down the other side of the map as the Liberator shows up, sieges up, and well, Stalker will push that away. Liberator will unsiege and reposition. On the other side of the map here now, these gateway units are just showing up, and they're actually putting some work in. These SCVs taking quite a few hits, and well, I mean, 5 of them going down on each side of the map. It's a good little trade-off from both players. That Liberator is still getting something done though, sieging up in the main base. Forcing so much lost mining time here. I mean, aLive wasn't really losing mining time as much as Patience was, because aLive's SCVs weren't mining already. So this was actually quite nice from aLive, I think, overall. Denies a lot of mining time, and that definitely helps. He goes for the Oracle with the Marines, but he doesn't quite catch it. He gets away with such little HP at the very end there. Just manages to escape. Those Marines still moving around to see what they can do next. Forge on the way up, a couple more probes on the way out. Liberator will siege up and just come in on top of this base. So again, a few more probes being picked away at very quickly there. 2 more Phoenix coming into the right-hand side, and they come right into this to be able to pick their way through this Liberator. So Liberator goes down. Again, a nice little cleanup here, as we do see. Those Phoenix going to come back up towards the natural expansion. 2 Widow Mines now moving forwards, and a couple of an observer will see this from the start. And mortal production from Patience. At this stage of the game, as Patience, I mean, he's going to be going towards Colossus, right? I mean, he doesn't have any Twilight Council upgrades, so Colossus are kind of like the sturdy sort of unit he'll look to kind of rely on here. Gateway units don't really fill that role unless they have something like, you know, Charge, for example, which can obviously make the Zealots that much better. Or, for example, the Stalkers with their Blink can make them that much better to kind of keep them in a very strong position. Moving forwards right now, aLive coming to the bottom right-hand side of the map. He's going to get ready to push, so I mean, the Robo Bay is up, but nothing's come from it yet. So this is not a strong position from Patience, I would say. That Stasis Ward could be a savior. Oh, do you see that pickup? That's kind of sick. Obviously, a couple of units getting caught here, but nowhere near as much as it could have been. A lot of those Marines saved. And that's actually a pretty big deal, as we see the Immortal coming in to try and attack that first Widow Mine. aLive will just wait this out. +1's not far off. It will be an upgrade lead for him. Chooses to make a Disrupt out of the Robo Bay. I mean, Disruptor's very hit and miss, though. If that Disruptor shot misses, then there's no real splash damage to back this up. And aLive is right here. 4 Widow Mines all in one place, though, and that's why the Disruptor will absolutely excel. He'll be able to get rid of all 4 of those Widow Mines. Okay, gets 3 of them. But imagine it would have been 4, but okay. Gets 3 of them. Widow Mine goes off on the Oracle in the end. ByuN's in the mineral line, which is actually kind of hard for the Pros player to fight because his units can't really get there very easily. A lot of probes targeted down here. Disruptor shot is okay. And there's 20 probes killed. And aLive didn't really lose all that much in the process, as he's continued to reinforce across the map. Not a ton of units, but enough to kind of justify a jump into the main base with a single medevac. aLive playing with the lead right now. 15 workers ahead. And as long as he doesn't lose too much of his army, he can hold a counterattack. He's going to stay in a very strong position here. Oh my god, Patience loses 8 more workers. He was already in trouble in the worker count, and now that's even extended further. One of the Widow Mines surviving as well. It's just that little bit of a kick in the teeth when you're already kind of ahead, right? aLive's already got Patience like begging, no, stop, it hurts. And he's like, okay, well, I'm just going to kick you in the teeth. Like, you know, fuck you. You know, I really don't like you. Gets the Widow Mine out of there, can use it again, whether it's in the army or as harassment. A couple of units here just kind of left behind from the original kind of rallying across the map. But it leaves this, as he sees this army coming across, it leaves this army to come in. The sentries are on their own. No way! How often do you find 4 sentries with a random set of Marines from earlier on? That's actually a little bit crazy. We're going to see probes actually be... this Adept goes down. Oh, man. Well, this is really troubling for Patience here. He's trying to make something happen with the counterattack. He's completely all in with this. I mean, he's 20 workers behind. He has to win right now, so let's see if he can. A couple of Disruptors to help him, the 2 Immortals and the Warp Prism Micro. In terms of mining, well, he's only mining off 1 base, so really, he doesn't even have that many Warpins to work with here. 3 Marines going down just there. Disruptor shot connecting well. He adds in a couple of sentries. Even if the 4 sentries were here, obviously it was unfortunate losing those, but even if they were here, I don't know if they would have made a difference. That was a nice Disruptor shot, though. And there's little attacks like that that will start to add up over time. Nexus fell in the natural, so again, just in case you weren't sure Patience was already all in, he definitely is all in. I mean, we kind of knew that already. So another good Disruptor shot. A Widow Mine goes off, gets a Stalker, but I mean, now there's only 1 Widow Mine left, and there was a lot of bio that's gone down the last few moments. Widow Mine is being dodged by the Warp Prism lift-ups now, so that's really nice. A good, easy way of doing that. And, well, here we go. Liberators might save the day, because there isn't all that many Stalkers. So not a lot of anti-air. He's going to load up and go to the high ground instead. A couple of Phoenix might be able to hold off the Liberators for now. Doesn't get to the high ground before the bio makes it up there, though, and it feels as though aLive with the Liberators has really kind of found somewhat of a checkmate maneuver where Patience suddenly can't really afford to attack into this position like he could moments ago. SCVs will pull in, knowing how important this one attack is to survive. The bio comes in from the high ground. I mean, we're talking about 1-1 against +1. All the advantages in aLive's favor. And I think aLive, a little bit of BM there, as I think he was laughing or so at Patience, who will tap out of the game and give aLive. Yeah, let's just go into the game. Let me know what's up in the chat. Let me know who you guys are cheering for today. As we have to the bottom left-hand side, our blue Terran player, this is ByuN, going up against the red Terran. To the top right from Titan X1, it's Bunny. What's up, everybody? How are we feeling? Who you guys cheering on in this series? Who do you guys want to see win? Let me know what's up Again, it's our second and final best of 7 of the day. After this, we'll be doing some marbles for a little while. If you guys are excited about that. Thank you so much to Jaylee, by the way, who did resubscribe before the break, 9 minutes ago, actually. Apologies for being so slow to say thank you. But thank you so much for that 3-month resub. Really do appreciate it. Thank you so much for the 3 months, Jaylee. ByuN says Task Horizon. Haven't seen ByuN in a while, says Xeno1357. He has been streaming a little bit, though, ByuN, right? I feel like we've seen ByuN streaming a little bit here and there. Yeah, I feel like he's been doing pretty good. You guys are so quiet in chat. Let's liven up. What's going on? I want to hear some predictions. I want to see what you guys think is going to happen in the TVT. Let me know. Let me know what's up. Let me know how you guys are doing. What's up, Lunatic Soul? Brand new in the stream in the chat. How you doing? Welcome. Good to have you. So do you see a Reaper just on the way out? So Reaper coming through. Factory on the way up as well here now from ByuN. A little bit of a difference between the two players. Obviously, Bunny looking for a Reaper-based expansion with that single gas. With the double gas, ByuN will go for the faster factory. That is dropping down right now. Supply depot coming down behind this mineral line as well. So, supply depot drops behind the mineral line. ByuN has a couple of options. He's got the chance of staying in double gas free on each, which means he'll go for a very fast starport. He could play starportless, which means that he'll just go for kind of Cyclone opening and then into still a fairly fast expansion of his own. Go a second Reaper, and it looks as though it is going to be a starport along with this, especially with a Hellion on the way out. There's surely no way he doesn't build a starport here. He does, but it's on the top side of the map. Okay, so proxies the starport then. We'll see what comes of that. I mean, Liberator can hit very quickly from there, of course. I mean, you can get a medevac out on the other side of the map pretty quick. A few different possibilities as that comes up. What's up, Nix the Kobold coming in to say hello. Hello, welcome to the chat. I'm excited to watch the new bounce patch and the Cyclone rework. Now you don't need a tech lab. Yeah, it'll be kind of cool. Hey, now you don't. Now you need a tech lab. Oh yeah, now you need a tech lab. Yeah, that'll be cool. I'm interested to see how the Cyclone does in general. ByuN always said he struggled with TVT. It's so funny, because I remember when ByuN was being the online warrior, like before he came back and started playing really well offline and stuff, and he was just like absolutely unbeatable. Like, we were casting this event called the Doyu Cup, and he had something like, he had like an insane like 40 series win streak or something in these cups alone, and it was like, wow. And he was like, and the funny thing was, all the players that played in these events were like the Terran players. It was like ByuN, aLive, Keen, and GuMiho were like the 4 big players that played every single time. So every single time, ByuN just showed up and he just beat up on all of the Terran players. He looked just so freaking good while doing it. It was crazy. He just looked like he had the matchup so well figured out back then. I loved to see ByuN looking like that once again, because it really was magical to watch him playing when he was like that. This is a proxied Liberator, which is going to turn into a Tech Lab starport. Tech Lab starport means that we're going to be seeing a potentially a Cloak Banshee or something along those lines coming through here. I mean, what else could it be? You're not going to proxy a Raven, right? Alright, just going to be seeing the Cloak coming down, and on the other side, Reactor started to build on the barracks, but he decides to cancel it. His own CC, only about halfway done. I mean, at some stage here, ByuN has to find some damage, because Bunny's been on an expansion for so much longer than ByuN has been. We're currently talking about a 6-worker deficit. Now, he's obviously playing Distraction at the front here, Reaper Grenades and all sorts. Keeping these Cyclones busy, allows the Liberator to get into the main, but already the Viking gets some shots off. The Marines are here too. And if this, well, I mean, he kills a Marine with the Liberator. ByuN is not finding any damage at all. He's finding a couple of Marines at the front, and he gets a Cyclone as well, which is nice, but even this Cyclone that he has, well, his Cyclones remaining, they have such low health, there's not much more he can do. Sticking around is just such a risk there. Does have to back away, as we'll see that, well, see this bunker getting finished up, so bunker going to be completed here, and a few Marines going to jump into it. 2 Cyclones from ByuN just going to sit down in the center. A couple of, well, Banshee moving down the center too. Cyclone's going to lock on towards the Viking. The starport actually giving it vision. Usually the Cyclone wouldn't have been able to stay locked on at that range. He will not kill the Viking, but he gets it low enough to consider it, you know, make it consider going back home. A small win for ByuN in a game where he is struggling by 9 workers. And he doesn't really have the army advantage either, right? Like, sometimes if you're behind on workers, you have that bit of a better army. And you can hit at a time where it forces workers to be pulled to survive. And that's where the worker count then gets, you know, kind of evened out. So, It's interesting as you see this Viking coming down, chases that Banshee away on the right hand side of this. +1 attack coming in from ByuN now on the natural expansion. And we do see the Raven about to pop out from Bunny on the starport. So Raven pops out, barracks drops onto the tech lab, and we're going to see a couple more barracks on the way up as well. Starport lifts and just goes off to the side, and will also just get itself established here, as you do see +1 attack coming in on each player. Stimpack also on the way up now currently, a couple more barracks coming down here. I feel like Bunny's just got everything going so well for him. I mean, there's no third CC from ByuN. Obviously, he's got a couple of racks a little bit faster, but I mean, if that's his only advantage, it's going to be tough because he's going, you know, if he has to be the aggressor into a defensive siege tank line, etc., it's never going to be easy. These Banshees are not going to do anything. I mean, the Raven already here to help pick off one of them, so another quick cleanup from Bunny and ByuN. I mean, if you look at what's being killed this game, ByuN has lost a Liberator, 2 Reapers, a Hellion, and a Banshee. All of this went down for 3 SCVs and a couple of Cyclones. I mean, the Cyclones, the Marines, they were nice. But again, it's also all of this has happened while Bunny has been down by, or been ahead massively in workers. So it's nowhere near what it needs to be from ByuN. And that's why he's really going to be trailing going into this mid-game. Now, you know, 2 bases apiece going up to 3 bases as well. Bunny should have every advantage in the book sooner rather than later. He'll be a bit behind on combat shields. Combat shields already coming in from ByuN, but that just means... I mean, that just means that ByuN's got double tech lab barracks, which actually means that he isn't actually going to be producing as many Marines as Bunny will be when he has double reacted barracks. I mean, he's also got a much faster 4th and 5th racks compared to ByuN, who just now starts up that 3rd base on position. So, again, just all of these little advantages that are kind of lining up and coming into play now from Bunny. As ByuN, again, he's going to be pushed for what he can do to get back in this game as well. I mean, you think about the options. Obviously, big drops and so could be a big answer to kind of, you know, getting back in this. Boom, sensor tower comes down. Every attempt we've seen of being aggressive so far has been shut down so quickly. It's because Bunny's so well set up, from just having Vikings and Ravens positioned well earlier to now having a sensor tower to detect maybe medevacs coming his way, for example. He's got the odd missile turret up here. He's so well set to defend, and ByuN, okay, he's got like a 10 army supply advantage now, but this is kind of too late to have the army supply advantage, right? Because now there's tanks already set up from Bunny. He's already got enough to hold on, he's got the splash damage to defend with, and that's going to make it very difficult. Well, Bunny will just start up his own combat shields now. Again, that is one thing which ByuN has that Bunny doesn't. As Bunny does come in with the Marine drop of his own, though, so actually it's ByuN that needs to deal damage. It's Bunny that will be the first to get across here, though. Gets a few SCVs, gets a supply depot. And right now, there's actually nothing to stop Bunny from just getting more and more supply depots. Gets a second one here, just repositioning his units, making sure they stay together as he tries to fight these Marines. And you can kind of see the difference in combat shields versus no combat shields already. But he gets those Marines, he moves towards the corner, he lifts up. Boom, he's out of there, and Bunny has a hugely successful drop. Slows ByuN down. I mean, does some damage, and it's all the things that ByuN just can't afford to have happen to him at the moment, as ByuN will be trailing by 14 workers. It's going to be seeing Marines, tanks. And we're going to be trying to move out through the south side, and we do see this combat shield upgrade is about to finish up from Bunny, so there it is. That's going to be that one disadvantage that was currently in the game disappearing. Yes, ByuN has a +1 armor upgrade, a bit faster than Bunny does as well. So that's also a bit of an influence at this stage. They're not the end of the world, and there's also a +2 advantage from Bunny. As ByuN starts to move across the map, this drop comes back in again, and ByuN finds himself having lost 8 more workers. Bunny just jumps on this orbital. He's just going to keep working his way through this. This is going to drop down, and this is looking as though, I mean, the tank firing away on a few of those Marines, but this is looking as though it's kind of game ending already. This orbital looks as though it's probably just going to straight up die. On the other side, ByuN will try and put himself in a strong position. He will get a position to take down this refinery. This orbital survives. Just something. He will try and just drop across here, but here come the Vikings. Gets rid of almost a full medevac already. Anti-armor missile coming down to help out. Tanks are positioned well, and I mean, now there's barely any Marines to really support this, so it's just the tanks to ByuN that are an issue. We'll see how long that really lasts. I kind of feel as though ByuN is on a bit of a timer right now. His 3rd CC survived, but I mean, it's still burning as it starts to fly back into position. The tank's actually on siege over here. The Vikings come in, and interference matrices come down. ByuN will lose out on his tanks, and that's going to be Bunny. Overwhelming to take the freeze. Thank you very much indeed. As here we are, guys. Game number 4 into the 2v2. Thank you again, Jago Truck, for that Twitch Prime sub. And let's do this. To the bottom right-hand side, they need to win this to stay in the tournament. Down 0-3. With a 2v2 to save them. It's not a situation you often find yourself in. ByuN and Patience will represent ByuN and the kids. But, you know what's really interesting about Titan X1 team? They don't have a Protoss player. So while every other team has been sending out their Protoss in the 2v2 to play Phoenix, ByuN and the Titan X1 can't do that, so they send out double Terran in the form of Bunny and aLive. I will get rid of that bit boss bar, guys, because obviously it doesn't quite fit at the moment. Let me just find which button it is. There we go. There we go, guys. So, double Terran, as we actually see a gas steal from Patience on each of the Terran players as well. I'm intrigued to see how well double Terran can do against what is generally going to be from Patience a bunch of, you know, Phoenix. And that Phoenix count will support the army of ByuN. GuMiho obviously sitting out for the 2v2. I would imagine, right, if ByuN and the kids win this 2v2, ByuN and Patience come out victorious, I would imagine the player you pick to represent you in the all kill, considering that you can only pick one guy, I'd imagine you'd pick GuMiho, right? Because GuMiho, I mean, you compare GuMiho to ByuN, I think GuMiho's a much stronger player this year, obviously. I think against Patience, yeah, I think with Patience too, I think you definitely pick GuMiho. So, you imagine that GuMiho will probably be coming out if they win this 2v2, but of course, that's only if. Patience actually opens with the proxied Stargate. And gets set up over there. You see a... is that a gas steal? No, it was just a... Ah, it's a live Reaper. Getting confused by colors and stuff already here. As you're going to see that Adept and Marine trying to chase the Reaper down, and Reaper will be pushed away. A second Reaper shows up here, though, from aLive. Both of the Terran players on the other side of the map are expanding at different rates. Bunny expanded just a little bit faster than aLive did. So, again, small differences. Oh, aLive actually proxy 2-Rex. Oh, I didn't even realize that. So, ByuN's aLive's actually going for a lot of Reaper pressure in the early game, while Bunny just goes all out with the expansion in the economy. Although we are going to be seeing the couple of Reapers being pushed away there. So, those Reapers get pushed back. On the top side, we see a few Marines again from Bunny working their way through this assimilator. Just picking their way through this. The shield's almost gone. Reaper hopped up to the high ground there just for a moment and is going to continue up to the top side. That Stargate still just chrono boosting this Oracle. It is not far from coming out, and well, I mean, there's actually no defense available from aLive because his barracks were in the middle of the map. I mean, Bunny will have Widow Mines, but Widow Mines can only cover so much area, and this is not one base that he has to defend, but two very soon. Reaper actually sees a Stargate though, and so the Widow Mine will start to move towards this main base of aLive. But there's still only so much space that Widow Mine can cover, so there's still positions where this Oracle can sit here and just pick away at workers. And he gets 3 kills for now. Patience will then just be happy with that and back away. Stargate unpowered, so only the single Oracle. Back at home, it is a Twilight Council down from Patience, and needs a Dark Shrine on the way as well. So actually, good Arc Templar in it, and he is not going to be playing Phoenix here. So despite what we usually see, Phoenix will not be the choice this time. And I kind of wonder if it's just because Phoenix only have so much, like, I wonder if Phoenix would kind of be a bit weird against double Terran. Like, I wonder if he could just get overrun by, like, pure Marine almost. It's interesting, or like Marine Widow Mine. I wonder if that's why Patience steers away from it, despite it being the go-to for every other team in the 2v2s that have a Protoss. Well, as Oracle pulls back away, Patience's gas steal on Bunny here is going to be picked away at now by a couple of Marines that have indeed come out. So that simulator starting to take some damage. We'll see a factory dropping down now as well, in between the bases of Bunny and aLive. Let me just get this game continuing in the 2v2. Any predictions out in the chat? Anyone thinking that Patience and ByuN got this, or you guys think Bunny and aLive are just going to close out the clean sweep? Right now, it's an even game. Like, ByuN and Bunny are very similar if you compare the supplies. Patience and aLive are as well, because they both kind of opened a bit funky, right? Patience with the proxy Stargate that got a little bit shut down. you know, aLive with this proxy 2x3, but that didn't really do too much either. Stun Shatton in the chat, feeling bunny and alive. Feel like this is over, says I am Aldo. See the stasis water coming down. And you see this Dark Templar coming in from the top side. Patience with that DT coming down, but they're yet to really use the DTs, right? We haven't really seen them come into play yet. Oh man. The hell was that? Was that a Widow Mine? It must have been a Widow Mine on like a clumped up SEV. Huh. DT reveals itself as it swipes its way through a few Marines in the middle of the map, so DTs are now known about it. Yeah, sorry for missing out on this. Just trying to think what it could have been. Not DT, right? Is there one shot? Yeah. I do not know. Huh. How weird. Team Medivacs is going to be coming down the left side. bunny, of course, with 16 Marines in this, has a lot of potential, as we do see an Oracle of Patience. Coming up to the top, ByuN. Also coming out through this top side as well, and we'll start a boost maybe towards that main base. Flies over a pylon there for a second. Plus, well, I mean, there's concussive shells on the way up here. This is going to be finished in just a moment or two. So concussive shell is almost done. Combat shields coming in, as we will see the Widow Mine going off, and a stasis ward doesn't quite go down. Again, there's those two medivacs which boost away. Off over into the center. They're going to start dropping down. There's a War Prism here from Patience. Prism here from Patience is not quite... I mean, it's seen... Oh, of course, it's ByuN's army. God damn it. 2v2 is confusing the cast, guys. Apologies. Obviously, it's ByuN's Marine, so I was always like, oh my god, the Prism! And I was like, what's happening? And then I'm just like, oh, it's me being an idiot, not the players. I mean, I guess that's the more likely outcome, right? It's, you know, me being an idiot, not the players. Oh, well. Okay, well, ByuN and Patience taking a lot of map control here. ByuN still... I don't think overall you look at the unit counts, the worker counts, and so on, it's looking like a pretty even 2v2. Again, the compositions are interesting to look at too. Bunny and aLive, the double Terran, they both just kind of go, you know, kind of like a little bit different. Mostly Marine tank from Bunny. aLive going for like Bio Mine, so it's a little bit different. I guess it's going to make a nice combination of units, right? Like tank, mine, bio. Yeah, it's going to turn out quite nicely, I think, actually. Marine tank makes a lot of sense because obviously tanks are a little bit more gas heavier than Widow Mines. So bio, in terms of adding Marauders in, comes a little bit more naturally to the player making Widow Mines. So yeah, it actually works out quite nice. ByuN's composition is just going to be siege tank focus. A lot of Marines for him, by the way, actually. ByuN is ahead in the army supplies compared to both the other Terrans. Colossus coming up here from Patience. And we'll see how that goes. Kind of start to feel as though the Widow Mines of Bunny and aLive are not really going to have much of an effect here. Like, Colossus are not a great setup to have Widow Mines against, because they can fight those Widow Mines from a distance without engaging them, well, without being fired on by them. You can see these, well, the Oracle again picked off there. These medivacs were seen, though, and that tag revelation was important, because now that drop is known about, you can see ByuN already positioned to try and use it. However, aLive using this as an opportunity to move the rest of his army around the top side of the map, using this as a chance to catch Patience and ByuN a little bit off guard when they think they know what's going on, but actually they don't. Although this set of units here is still known about, so ByuN could jump on this now. He's sieges up the tanks, and here we go. Now he stims in. The tank fire is going to open up nicely, and this is Marines against Marine Marauder, and Marines win this fight all the time, especially if your opponent isn't paying attention. aLive takes a heavy loss. ByuN loses basically nothing. The drop on the other side, though, is where aLive will get some movement back into this. Disruptor here could help out. The Marines are fighting again. Again, Marauders just don't do that well against Marines. And so, you know, this is why we always see in TVT Marine tank versus Marine tank instead of bio against Marine tank. Simply because the value that a Marauder adds of kind of being a bit tankier is nowhere near as valuable as what a Marine's damage output adds. So, Marauder's not usually seen, and that's why ByuN able to just take such a convincing fight there. And also over here, he saves this base. Okay, got denied a little bit, but suddenly ByuN and Patience looking very good. Bunny overall is up in supply, though. 173 against the 147 of ByuN to compare, and Patience is 102 against 99 of aLive. So it's still actually pretty good here. Overall, the supplies of Bunny and aLive are higher. It's just we're yet to really see Bunny doing anything. Now, Bunny was the Marine tank player, and I guess Marine tank does become very weak against Colossus, and there's 2 Colossus being made at a time, and that is the issue. As Bunny's starting to realize this, he's making now 2 Vikings. DT shows up to keep the Stargate alive. Not really any reason to keep the Stargate alive other than the fact that you can. And, you know, over time, I guess it does become a little bit better. You know, it's just nice, you know, a little bit of vision here and stuff. Watches drops if they're not paying attention when they're rallied out. Okay, well, Bunny is definitely the hard carry right now for Bunny aLive. They are 200 supply on Bunny with 120 on aLive. That's a 322 supply. And again, it's about a, like a 300-ish supply of ByuN and Patience, although obviously Patience is a supply very efficient. Marine sieging up here already, and that's some good initial shots here from those tanks from ByuN, who actually pushes forwards, gets a tank of his opponent too. I mean, there's just no way that ByuN and aLive can push forwards here unless they do it very slowly by Liberator sieges. Nice lift up on a couple tanks. This tank here isn't too much trouble though. Oh, the Marines came forwards and actually tanked the shots. The Liberator didn't target fire. So actually the tank stays alive. That was really awesome. Now we've seen some more Marines loading up into medevacs, and they're going to go across the right-hand side here. Colossus coming over. Those medevacs going to continue to escape the way. So we still see some more Marines pushing forwards. More tanks sieging up as well. Still see just more medevacs from aLive also coming up on the left-hand side. +2 attack, +2 armor, about to finish up from aLive, +2 armor, about to be done from Bunny. I mean, 2-2 is already done from ByuN. Patience is trailing on upgrades, but when it's Colossus against Marines, it doesn't matter all so much. This attack of Bunny to the right is deflected. Bunny aLive are looking just, I mean, they're running into wall after wall after wall of just unbeatable units. I mean, they can't break through the tanks in the center, they can't beat the Colossus on the right. They're going to try and drop into the main base of ByuN. A couple of DTs actually going to come out of scan range there, so they'll be able to keep on chasing. Another Colossus or two in the main as the recall comes in, and Patience helps to clean that up. And you'll just leave a Colossus or two to finish cleaning that up, because there is a medevac with just a few units left inside still. Well, they're going to use this as a chance now to move around the right-hand side, so here we go. Around to the right, we see a Sensor Tower taken down already. Liberators sieging up here, as you see a Disruptor shot goes off, but not much more done. Vikings going to try and get rid of this Colossus here, but not much luck. The Liberators, though, start siege and push down this ramp towards ByuN's base, but ByuN just goes across the map. He's like base trade time, and he sets up some tanks to deal with these Marines that are going to start running in, and yeah, well, how do you run into siege tank fire? You don't! Because the Yans, these units all actually load up to fly elsewhere. Now ByuN's actually going to unsiege, and oh, he finds the Vikings of aLive, which are obviously important when you consider that these Colossus are still on the map. Those medevacs of Bunny, they're going for the main base of ByuN. There's a few Marines here, not that many. He's gonna, he's actually going to deflect it for the moment. Okay, Bunny will not make it into the main. ByuN still has a lot of units on the map as Bunny. Looking around still, Colossus, Adepts, and Disruptors moving forwards. Looking to try and greet this. Again, ByuN is the one that can make something happen. He is going to push in and kill this base. There's no defense there at all for it. Well, these medevacs are still all loaded up with nowhere to really go. There you go, instant lift on this base. Sensor Tower saw it coming, but no real response in time. I guess this army now might get flanked in as Bunny unloads, but then Patience's army could come in as well. Maybe have an impact. ByuN's Marines are very battered and bruised. Liberators sieging up. I actually think ByuN might be in some trouble, but then again, Patience could maybe save the day. Remember, the tank count is going to be absolutely huge here in terms of what it can get done. ByuN loses a lot. He's down to 116 supply overall. ByuN and Patience have so much more supply, though, and I actually still don't know if there's even going to be a way to, to kind of clean up this Protoss army. Vikings will be able to get rid of the Colossus for the most part. One of them might remain. Disruptor's doing pretty well, but then the tank fire does a good job as well. Patience supply drops massively, but ByuN is ahead of Bunny on supply, and Patience is ahead of them aLive, so overall they still have an army supply lead. And I think that might just be enough to finish this off, as now ByuN going to load up a Doom drop and going to be heading towards the main base as well. What a fantastic 2v2, by the way. We've been seeing so many cool games when these 2v2s have come around. And here we go, into the main base. We're going to be seeing Marines, tanks, sieging up now, setting up, getting ready to go. We're going to see the Marines stemming forwards. And we are going to see a siege tank getting picked off there. More of these Marines in some trouble, and it looks as though it is going to be aLive GGing out. And ByuN and Patience will then take the win, and they will get themselves on the scoreboard this act. Well, you might not have been correct, but you fought the same as ByuN and the kids fought. We'll see if GuMiho will be the answer as he goes out, and this is going to be the second time he plays Impact today. He was really winning against Impact last time around. Then one big move out that was just a little bit too soon from him completely turned the game on its head. So here we are for game number 5 of this series. GuMiho is the last man standing from ByuN and the kids. He's the blue Terran to the bottom left side of the map. And he's up against the red Zerg top right from Titan X1. It's Impact. He just needs to win this, and boom, they will advance through to the next round of this lower bracket. So, as we get this going, looking to see just what's going to be going on in the next few moments. You have a spawning pool coming up towards the edge of this creep spread here from Impact, which is not being too crazy. It was again a gas pool into a hatch here from Impact. He did this earlier against GuMiho, but GuMiho on Cerulean Fall did open with the command center first, which meant that it didn't have much of an impact. He lost a couple SCVs, but his counterattack got a lot of damage done. So we'll see what he goes for this time as he Reaper expands. We'll see how that Ling opening, that pool opening will work out. What's up, GoatBoy1975, by the way, of the 2-month resub. Great to see you coming back for a second month on the channel. Great to have you with me. Thank you so much for your second month of subscribing. Really do appreciate it. Can we get some love in the chat, guys, for GoatBoy1975. Again, game 5 of this best of 7 series. We do have... There's our final best of 7 of the day. We're going to do some marbles for probably around an hour after the stream. I want to do at least a 5-hour stream. So, wait, am I confusing myself here? Oh yeah, my stream randomly like crashed, didn't it? We've definitely not only been live for 2 hours and 44, right? We've been live like 3.5 hours. Yeah, so I want to do about a 5-hour stream, maybe a bit longer. So we'll do about an hour of marbles after the stream as well, if you're looking forward to that. That is still coming after this best of 7. So this is our last series of StarCraft today, but obviously if GuMiho wins a few in a row, we could still have 3 more games. As right now, this Reaper is going in already, 1 kill. And going for more. Lings across the map are causing some delays, but a second Reaper comes out of GuMiho. I mean, don't see 2 Reapers all the time, but well, it's going to work out for him. Doesn't have to send this Reaper home so quickly. Still got a drone kill, and we'll get some of these Lings as well. So Ling's going to be cleaned up. The Hellion gets shot to help out, and that's going to be the end of this aggression on the Terran side of the map, at least for the moment. But the reactor will be late on the barracks, which means the Hellions will not be reacted out anytime soon. So there will be a little bit of a delay on that, as we see GuMiho of 2 Reapers will go for some more damage here. And there is some opportunity. I mean, 2 Reapers will 3-shot workers, so that's actually a pretty big deal. Because that's actually very plausible for them to be able to find a couple of workers to 3-shot. Let's see what the micro is like out of Impact to defend. Finds 1 drone right away, and missed targets fires there. Finally gets 1, and gets 2, and he will get 3 drones. Nope, nice Spore Crawler in the end from Impact, and another one, realizing that he needs to start defending these workers. Can't just let them go down. Reapers, well, one of them is low, and the link speed will allow that to be killed. No way does that get out alive. 1 HP Reaper, so fortunate. Should never have survived that, just very lucky, very fortunate indeed. Reaper's out of there, though. Well, 2 workers killed, not bad at all. This Hellion getting a bit of repair on it as well. As back at home, there's been... I guess that was just the Hellion that was poking forwards. Third hatchery is on its way from Impact. GuMiho with his own 3rd CC. And going into his Cloak Banshee now as well. This is only a single factory game from GuMiho compared to that double factory style we saw from him just a little bit earlier on. The factory is now going to lift up and move towards this reactor. So it drops down there. Barrack's going to move itself as well. We still just have the Banshee of GuMiho coming around on the top side of the map. So GuMiho coming in here, and we are going to be looking for his opportunities. Gets a creep tumor right away, which is nice. Drone becomes a Spore Crawler once again, just to minimize itself and Machi down. His cloak completes while there's Spore Crawlers up as well, so there's only so much these Banshees can reel. There's so many positions this Banshee can take advantage of. Comes through the natural though, no Spore Crawler here, and this is the gold mine for this Banshee. 3 drone kills, and he's going to get 1, 2, 3, goes up to 4. Yeah, really nicely done as he backs away down from the natural. Drone dropping down from Impact as well, deciding that he's going to be playing a Roach style this game, as we see 2 Reapers come in again. Man, these Reapers have had an absolute field day this game, and they are going to find themselves finally surrounded and killed, but with 5 kills between them, they've had a very, very good time. So really, I mean, double Reaper opening from GuMiho. You don't see the double Reaper opening a lot anymore, but it really has worked out wonderfully here. And what a fantastic setup that was. As we'll see some Banshees up in the top side now. Hellions and a couple of Cyclones. Moving down through the south, a Banshee pops out. We'll start to head into the center. A couple of armories coming up on the natural expansion too. So a couple of armories on their way. Roach Speed coming in on the Roachron. And we do just see those Hellions. They're just chilling out down to the south on that watchtower. They join up with these 2 Cyclones then. So 5 Hellions and 2 Cyclones moving in towards this third base. Already 1 drone going down. Some more Lings pushing in as well. It's actually quite a lot of Lings that go down. The Spore Crawler being targeted to bring the Banshees back over here with more effectiveness. Especially if there's no Overseer in position, for example. And these Cyclones definitely helping to fight some of these Roaches too. I mean, Roaches being killed all over the place right now. Having to morph into Ravagers to stay alive. Honestly, if he targeted down a couple of these Ravagers, he would be able to get some cancels there, but he doesn't quite find it. Instead, cancels another couple of drones. More Roaches still going down. The Banshees were dealt with. The one that came in from the top side here. This Banshee just escapes with 5 hit points. Only a few workers here and there, but overall the pressure is good from GuMiho, and he's now 11 workers ahead in the game, with an army supply matching that of the Zerg. 1-1 vehicle upgrades coming through from GuMiho as well now, as you do see this Banshee also just on the way out. A couple more Hellions coming into play. And those couple of Ravagers coming up to the top side, as you see the Hellions going to get roasted a little bit further as well. It's now 7 workers killed, 8 workers killed just before those Hellions go down. And again, sorry, not ByuN, but GuMiho, for ByuN and the kids, is keeping up the pressure. He's keeping the action rolling for himself here, and he's stopping Impact from ever being able to get much further than where he's at right now in this game, which is obviously a little bit painful and a little bit of a unfortunate situation. Infestation Pit finishes up here from Impact in the natural. Evolution Chamber finished up just there moments ago as well. 6 more drones on the way out. A hatchery in the main base. And again, Banshees being repaired up here by these SCVs, so SCVs are going to keep on repairing, and as they keep on repairing, a 4th base from GuMiho coming down to the top side as well, plus 1 missile attack upgrade on the Evolution Chamber, as we do see GuMiho coming through the bottom side and across the map to keep up the pressure. A couple Creep Tumors going to be, well, the initial kind of idea here, but then he turns on the Queens, which, while the initial transfuses available, will go down pretty quickly. 1 Banshee falls, but then he'll scan and just get rid of the Creep Tumors. It's a shame he actually lost the 3rd Banshee, because then he would have been able to one-shot these Creep Tumors, which maybe would have meant a couple more killed. Going to the top side, deflected by Roach Ravager. Impact. At this stage of the game, you're playing from a worker deficit. What do? Well, you stop losing more workers to begin with. I mean, it's tough. What's your best decision? Do you just go for one big Roach Ravager attack? Sometimes I feel that works very well, because you go for one big attack. Yes, GuMiho's been trading, throwing away units to kill drones, and so the one big counter attack could work very nicely. But a lot of mechanical mistakes here by Impact. I mean, supply blocks are slowing down his production. He's got multiple overloads on the way because of that to try and help out now, and all these little things which really aren't going to help him. As we do see these 2 Banshees, they're going to move back up in towards the center. Barracks moving over to the right-hand side as well. Another scan coming down. You see some Creep Tumors being picked off here. Some multiple Creep Tumors going down over here as well. Some multiple Creep Tumors dropping. Banshees will head up to the top where they'll find themselves another couple Creep Tumors available to be picked off here. Some more Creep Tumors going down. Banshees trading here for a moment or so. That Queen getting low, and the Queen will drop. Overload from Impact continue to come through the center, and again the Banshee's just backing away through the top side. Roach is going to start patrolling out on the front of this base as well. Again, Roach is ravaging. He's actually going to Swarm Hosts here as well, Impact. I mean, again, you're trailing, you're playing against mech. I mean, Swarm Hosts are good against mech anyways, but if you need to trade efficiently to get back in a game, Swarm Hosts are obviously going to be a go-to kind of answer, right? So, no real surprises from Impact, as he's going to try and bring himself back into this one. 10 minutes into the game, and GuMiho is holding the lead. But we've seen GuMiho holding the lead against Impact earlier today, and he wasn't able to close it out. He made a mistake. He was too aggressive, and he let Impact right back into the game to the point where Impact actually fully from that point on controlled the game and took, made things happen from there. As you see these Locusts dropping down, and oh my god, 2 tanks actually went down as those Locusts got some good kills. Nicely done. 3 more Swarm Hosts on the way up, plus 1 Carapace about to finish, plus 2 missile attack upgrade coming in the Evo chamber as well. Ravagers and Roaches coming out into the center. There's those 2 Medivacs. They're going to be coming up to the top side as well right now. So GuMiho just looking for some more damage. This time it's going to be Hellions and a couple of tanks in this drop. Interesting little combination, but we'll see how it goes. Elsewhere to the bottom side, we actually see the Swarm Host Locust dropping down on the tanks. Locust count's pretty good. The tanks target down the Ravagers as well, so they don't friendly fire so much. Very important. And actually, we'll see just how much these tanks get done here then, because sieging up here, you actually deny mining on this base. I guess the Hellbats, their job is to just kind of keep these Roaches away from the tanks, which for the moment is indeed working. So this actually goes pretty well as you see continue to push through this side. However, GuMiho not paying attention, gets coated in bars and takes some damage from that. Hellbats drop down to the low ground now as these tanks are somewhat abandoned on the high ground, but still actually dealing damage here. 1 tank remaining, the drone's coming back into mine as the Hellions show up, and oh my god, the entire mineral line gets killed off just there. Locusts are forced out defensively, which is amazing as well. If you're using Locusts defensively, you're not on the aggression side of things, right? It gives the Terran player complete freedom against what's going on. I mean, okay, GuMiho maybe could have gotten away with that. He really derped around with his units a little bit right there. But as a Terran player, if you're forcing your units out defensively, it's fantastic, because the Swarmers really excel when they can be used aggressively to break positions and to hit in multiple locations and to, you know, abuse where your defensive position is. 20 workers killed again though, and GuMiho continues to keep Impact held at a very strong economy disadvantage at this stage of the game. So just coming in, dealing a little bit more damage. Cyclones here locking onto that Overseer, and the Overseer will fall. Another couple of scans coming down, one in the center, one down to the south. Roach is coming through the top side, and SCV is picked off. And again, those Roaches of Impact should be able to keep on moving forwards here. Hellions and SCV, as we see the Hellions actually very quickly to jump on top of those Roaches. So just taking quite a bit of damage. On the bottom side, the Swarm Host is going to go forwards aggressively, so well, Impact recovered from that few moments of not really being able to be doing much and having to defend. Now he's back on the forefront of the things, of stuff going on. The tanks are in the front rather than the Hellbats, which is painful because obviously the Hellbats are much cheaper to lose because they're minerals only. And also they do a lot better against the Locusts. It'd be okay if the Hellbats could attack from a distance, but they can't. So that was a little bit of a shame. Hellions still pressing forwards here as a couple of corrosive bars coming down. Vikings dodging away. More creep tumors being picked away at. Vikings will pick off this Overseer. Top left-hand side, Roach is actually going huge on this base, picking off 14 SCVs. GuMiho is very focused on this attack, though. If these Locusts aren't effective, which they might not be because they're dropping into so many Blue Flame Hellbats. And Fenrir Reignite again makes a big difference here. A couple tanks going down now, but it kind of feels like there's a good amount of use to keep pushing with. The Hellbats back away from those drones. I mean, I think the real goal is to get rid of this base. In the meantime, though, Impact finds himself an ability to get rid of even more workers here, forces a lift up. So it's a base for a base. I mean, it's not quite a base for a base, but it's denying mining at least from Impact. The thing is, GuMiho can just land and start mining and reproduce SCV so easily because those command centers aren't actually dying. And that is a big difference. That is a big deal. Tanks and Hellbats back out into the center. Vikings as well. There's those tanks sieging up now as we do see these Roaches and Ravagers into the center once again. And those are going to pop up. They start dropping down. A couple of Hellbats dealing some damage once more now. Roach is going to keep up the pressure on this base, make sure mining doesn't resume. The Locusts drop down from a distance, but well, the Hellbats deal with that so easily. That's not going to be an issue. Again, these bases are lifted, they're not landed yet. GuMiho still trying to keep on pressuring. Nice scan will push the creep back even further. And Impact's really being pushed towards the upper right corner, and he's going to be restrained to that corner. As we see, actually, look at this. GuMiho just keeps on pressing forwards. He's not worried about anything. Remember, though, GuMiho was overly aggressive in the previous game these two played earlier today, and that's when Impact was able to turn it around. But he had Vipers then to help him turn it around. Now, it is just Roach, Ravager, Swarmers, and it has been this setup for a while. There's no tech switch here to suddenly change things. And that could cause a bit of an issue, as we do see a Hellbat picked off up to the top. Locust pushing forwards. We see the kind of Locust dropping down, picking off a siege tank there. Here we go, a big surround. Tanks were unsieged, or a few of them were at least, but it doesn't seem to matter as GuMiho keeps pressing forwards, and Impact really seems to be running out of options here. Well, there's one option that we haven't explored. The Spire is up, and so 11 meters It may not win him the game, but it'll definitely keep him alive for a while, because it will clean out this current army of GuMiho. So Impact finds a way to stay in this, perhaps. As we're going to be seeing these meters about to pop, and, well, not all of them are going to pop, only a few. A few Vikings actually in the sky, so you'll be able to get rid of a couple meters right away. I mean, now as GuMiho, you just split up the army, right? You go a couple different directions, clean up, or I guess you just kill as much as you can. Multiple 4s on the way in production. He's just going to clean up whatever he can right now, and he still has a big advantage, and as long as he has some answer to the mutalist eventually, this should be pretty okay. These meters are still taking forever to clean up this army. So we'll be seeing the Cyclone, the 4 tanks taking some shots. I think that's a couple of tanks that are just going to be, oh, Hellbat's brought over here. These tanks here, you have to just fire away on this base. I mean, again, if you put Impact down to one base, there's no recovery, right? And as we see, the Spire +1 fly attack shouldn't finish here. Should go down in time, so Spire's killed as well. Over here, the one base that was mining from Impact is being chased down. The drones are being, well, annihilated, basically. 49 workers killed in recent times, and Impact is in a lot of trouble. It's probably just going to take a minute or two for GuMiho to build up anti-air, but I say that 10 Cyclones at once! 11 Cyclones at once, plus 4s. That's how great a position this is right now, as you see those Locusts popping out, and they are going to be dropping down. They actually are going to be able to kill off that orbital command. And now as you see these Locusts moving forwards, we are going to be seeing, well, 4s and tanks able to pick off those swarm hosts. 18 drones remain. Hellbat drops back down. Gets another couple of drones killed here. 67 workers killed in recent times. 124 drones killed this game. It's been crazy. It's been hectic. It's been a fun game, but GuMiho this time, he was in control throughout, and he was able to close it out. Well, he will be able to close it out. There's no way Impact turns this way one around, sadly to say. He's still got the meters, which is nice and all, but I guess there's no anti-air, really. And there's no missile turrets, but I mean, there's the anti-air over here in this army, and in a base trade, obviously, GuMiho wins by minutes, with minutes to spare. I mean, there's no way all the Terran structures go down before the Zerg structures do in this circumstance. There isn't enough Zerg, as these Swarm hosts are still trying to run around and do what they can, but, well, I mean, this actually might be elimination by just death of structures, right? I mean, there's 2 extractors, there's 1 extractor here. These are literally the last buildings on the map for the Zerg players, so... And there's only 9 drones, and all 9 of them are here as well, so there's actually no choice. I mean, this base trade is truly over. I mean, GuMiho, if he wasn't chasing the... I mean, chasing the Swarmers isn't a bad idea. There's no bad idea right now from GuMiho. Whatever he does wins him the game, but I don't think Impact taps out. I think he lets him lose the last couple of structures. Taps out with an extractor remaining. GG's! And GuMiho this around, obviously. From 0-3 down, they won the 2v2 to put it to 1-3, and now they won against... Well, GuMiho won against Impact to put it to 2-3. So here we go, game number 6. To the bottom right-hand side, still trying to close it out for his team. The red Terran player is alive. Top left, our blue Terran player from Psystorm Gaming. This is GuMiho. Okay then, game 6 of this best of 7 as we get this ready to go. Refinery, and then a barracks coming down from both players here. Yes, this is a team-based matchup, guys. So it's GuMiho, Patience, and ByuN. ByuN and the Kids as their team name. Unfortunately, Patience and ByuN are eliminated for the rest of this match. So it's just GuMiho taking on aLive, Impact, and Bunny from Titan X1. That's where we're at right now. So, in this game going, Freaktoes comes in with the 3-month free sub. Thank you so much. How you doing, Freaktoes? Thanks for joining us for 3 months in a row. So awesome, actually. Seeing loads of 2-month, 3-month free subs. That's really sick, guys. Loads of people that obviously started subscribing a couple months ago or so. good to see you guys still around and continue to enjoy the streams and enjoy the games. Really great to see you guys. Thank you so much. Wardy, is this a one-off thing, the format? So Crank did an entire team league of this format. We already did 3 broadcasts of it. We have 2 more broadcasts left with matches like this. So we basically have tomorrow we're going to do the winner bracket final and the lower bracket, the next round of the lower bracket. And the day after that, well, not the day after that, but the next time we cast this, which will be on Saturday, we will be broadcasting the grand finals after the lower bracket finals, basically. So it's very likely that we see more of these team leagues again in the future. It did pretty well, I think. So yeah, but I also have my own little idea. I was talking about this a little bit. Let's just take a moment to see how this goes. GuMiho did expand later, so he has more potential pressure. That Marine helps, and he does push this away. We'll see this in a moment or so. You just have Hellion Reaper. Gonna join in. But Marines now from aLive as well. Okay, so aLive will defend. GuMiho with some good micro though, making the most of this. Gets away with the Hellion and the Reaper, so really nicely done. The Marine going down isn't a massive issue. As we get this rolling. So we've seen a Ripper Grenade going down, Marine getting picked up. Couple of Hellions just coming back up top. So I just wanted to say very quickly, what was I about to say? Yeah, I had my own idea. I think we're going to do it sometime soon. We're going to call it the WardiTV Mini Team League, where basically you have teams of 2 players. And you come in, they play like a couple of best of ones or something to begin with, then they'll play a 2v2 in an Archon match, and then you have like an ace match or something. Like something like that. That's my plan. So like a couple of games, then a 2v2 and an Archon game. And then an ace, like that's sort of my plan. Like so, like a best of 5, where like the first game is one player versus the other player, the second game is someone else versus the other player. Game 3, game 4, game 3 is 2v2, game 4 is Archon, and game 5 is something else, right? I don't know. I just think it'd be fun. So I think we're gonna try that out. That's one of my things I really want to experiment with towards the end of this year. And it's definitely one of the things I'm going to put on my agenda. It's definitely something we're going to try because I've been having some fun casting the 2v2 parts of these matches. I like team leagues in general. Obviously, it's not quite a team league if it's 2 players a team, but it still has something a bit different going on, you know? Which is, in general, kind of awesome. Guessing WardiTV Team League is at a stop at the moment? Yeah, Team League was cancelled. It just doesn't exist anymore. As we do see Hellions here from GuMiho, picking off that Hellion of aLive. A couple of workers going down, as we do see the Hellions across the map, obviously having some fun. Some good mining time denied there as aLive. Currently falling down by about 4 workers, so all this pressure GuMiho is working out so far. A worker lead, an army supply lead. Third CC starts up just moments after aLive, but he starts his up in position. Yeah, I mean, GuMiho's had all the map control, right? So with all the map control, he's able to start his third base in position, and he won't be punished for it. And that obviously makes up for it being a little bit later. Couple more extra barracks starting to come down. And as we do see Bio against Mech going to be the style here. Bio from aLive, Mech from GuMiho. As you see extra gases, armories all being taken now. A bit of a skirmish here. As we do see there's a couple of tanks coming in. And there's just a Hellion in front there. There's a couple of auto turrets coming down on both sides. So both players dropping auto turrets here. There's definitely going to be GuMiho who's getting the better end of this trade. The Cyclone's helping massively in this. And aLive, his auto turrets just didn't really come in time there to do all too much. One tank goes over here. Oh my god, he delays the CC on 71 out of 71, I imagine. That's a real annoying time for that. That's crazy. Well, we're going to be seeing Hellions and tanks coming back up the left. Another scan coming down. aLive can't really be pushed into here. As you see that one tank is actually causing such a frustration. I mean, 2 Vikings about to pop out, and that should be the end of this. This base does get finished up, and we'll morph into an orbital very shortly as well. Again, just a couple of SCVs going down here and there. Not sure what that was, but looked like maybe just the order turret or so. That tank is so low, man. Finally, the Vikings come in. That tank will go down, but this one siege tank's actually done so much. It has 7 kills finally goes down. 8 kills, 4 for those SCVs. Good little something by aLive, but GuMiho still leads by just a couple of workers and an army lead as well. He's also going to be faster on upgrades while playing mech against ByuN. Like, mech is the kind of style which is meant to be a bit further behind, more abusable and, you know, better to trade with. So, being ahead is mech already puts GuMiho into a really strong position here in this game, number 6. He's looking to tie this up from his team after being 0-3 down. They could go and take this to an ace match, where Bunny would, of course, come out as the final player from Titan X1. It's going to be seeing a Liberator sieging up on the back of this natural, and we do see this one SCV up to the top from GuMiho. Just kind of sat there for a moment. Another Liberator of aLive comes in. A couple of Cyclones will come through. And, ooh, needs to be careful, though. Liberator firing, and Nelly does pick off that Cyclone right there, so have to be a little bit careful. Just going to be seeing a vanilla pre-igniter on the way up. It's about halfway done at the moment. A few more Hellions on the way out. A couple of SCVs being picked off here. As the Raven of aLive still around as well, dropping those auto turrets whenever possible. Armory on home from aLive. His armory, of course, he might get +1 vehicle weapons, but he's probably mostly going for 2-2 on the infantry. Ship weapons is also something he could commit into because air control does become a very important factor in these TVT games. It doesn't really matter what the style of play is. As you see the auto turrets right there. So going up the first few shots, the Cyclones then drop down kind of late to the fight, but man, these Hellbats helping to break through. Those tanks are going down already. Liberator sieging up might be a big part of the defense here. The Cyclones will lock onto it. Will get out of the Liberation zone, so they won't go down. But now there's nothing really to protect those Cyclones. But the Medivacs will lift them up and get them out of there. These Vikings are going to try and get another Medivac or so before they go down. And they actually survive a little bit longer. They could drop down and pick away at some SCVs. They decide to just fly away and they get out alive. GuMiho finds himself what I feel is another great trade. He keeps all of the important units alive, the units that cost gas. The Hellbats go down, yes, and you know you do need some of those for buffering, but you usually have such an over kind of income of minerals that making more Hellions is always going to be on the agenda anyways. Some loads ups as Hellbats go into Medivacs here so they can drop on top of armies as they begin to clash. Raven coming around this top left-hand side. We do have a few Marines coming around the right. A couple auto turrets dropping down here. SCVs pull away pretty quickly. Vikings still moving through that main base. And again, these couple of Medivacs here from aLive, they're going to be coming across to the left-hand side. Viking picks off the Raven finally. It goes down, backed itself into a corner there. aLive now taking an opportunity to drop some Marines into the natural. And this is what aLive needs to get some damage done. But GuMiho is so fast on the response, the Marines go down without even really killing any any SCVs. Not really much target fire going on. I guess he just wanted to try and get Marines everywhere. And he kills 5 workers, so he gets there. It's also a little bit of bio pushing in the left side. These Medivacs back away with the drop being sighted already. So you've seen a couple of Hellbats dropping down, and we do just have those Marauders backing away down the left. +2 plating and +2 weapons from GuMiho on the armories. As we do see the couple of SCVs just moving off to the left-hand side. 4th Command Center there is currently morphing into a planetary fortress. Smart service on the way from this tech lab factory. And we do see these Medivacs coming up from aLive towards the upper right-hand side of the map here. So they're moving in towards the upper right side of this. Again, the bio is pushing forwards. A few Hellions of GuMiho backing away, and a few Hellions of GuMiho diving down the right side as well. They're looking to try and go in towards this mineral line here as well, I'd imagine, and try and grab a few of those SCVs. And as the bio catches one Hellion right away. Good job, well done right there, as we do see 2 more starports from aLive on the way up. So 2 more starports coming into play, really looking to switch into that air control, and we mentioned how important that can be. Let's see if it works out for him. Anti-armor missile and an interference matrix to help GuMiho push into this army. And he will defend the 4th base without much concern. Just a little bit worried about this tank, but he gets out of there. And still just a couple of Cyclones. I mean, Cyclones are really good against the anti-armor missile units because Cyclones attack so fast. The armor upgrades have a big effect on Cyclones, the armor value of units. Cyclones will always perform well against units with less armor because they attack so frequently. So their attacks are affected massively by armor. So the more upgrades, armor upgrades a unit has, the worse the Cyclone performs. Comparatively to other units per se. Cyclone and Hellion still just popping out here. He's still introducing Cyclones into the army. I imagine because he knows those Cyclones will do very well combined with anti-armor missiles. Yeah, and it does just kind of create a more mobile force to move around and kind of contest with around the map. Does anti-armor still stack? No, anti-armor doesn't stack. Anti-armor never stacked, did it? Did anti-armor stack? You could like drop it 10 times and you could get like minus 30 armor? I don't think it ever stacked, right? That would be ridiculous. If it stacked, it would stack. It stacked for like half a day before they fixed it. It used to stack. It didn't used to stack the debuff. It used to stack damage, right? But they removed the damage from anti-armor. Did you see the medevacs just getting away and towards the main base? Yeah, they removed the damage. The damage was like an AOE, so the AOE was actually very powerful. They removed that, so now it's, you know, the anti-armor only goes on it once, and the damage is non-existent. Or it does like 5 damage, which may as well be more non-existent. So yeah, I guess the damage stacks, but the damage is so low it doesn't matter. Couple of Marauders and a Marine fighting away here. Cyclone is going to get picked off. And you see these Hellbats coming in, and going to be able to clean up a little bit here. All of a sudden, I mean, a lot being done by aLive in terms of damage done, but at the same time, GuMiho is pushing across the map. Tank siege up, and that's where this bio army suddenly starts to disappear. So GuMiho is in a strong position to push into whichever base he wants, but he has lost 28 workers, and that's still going up. This base on the left side's in some real trouble here. So GuMiho is down heavily in workers, but there's obviously a very good chance he denies all of these workers from his opponent, and there's a very good chance that there's just not an army on the map that aLive can use to clean up the current army of GuMiho. Medevacs load up, they go in towards the main to kind of shut this down. Cyclones, I guess, will lock onto these medevacs, and that will be the end of those medevacs. Hellbats are still chasing those SCVs away. Another command center seen here. Locks onto these couple of Vikings that come in for some medevac kills as well. Yeah, and those SCVs were just running into oblivion, so that's actually a good chunk of workers. I mean, what, you lose 20 workers here? It doesn't quite even out the worker kill count. If you lose these workers here as well, which is very likely now, aLive doesn't have an economy advantage anymore, and there's still a big army advantage in favor of GuMiho. So while aLive is doing some cool things across the map, he's not had enough to defend at home, and that's the big issue he's running into at the moment, is Hellbats, Cyclones, and all sorts trying to fight against that bio, trying to push it back. This base on the left goes down, and now these SCVs are going to run through the army to try and get anywhere. And again, the army of worker count of aLive is dropping as well. It's still 20 ahead. These workers get to mine over here, so many of them very low health. But again, there's just no shutting down this army, it feels like, as the bio will start to push in, using these SCVs to buffer for just a second, because that's how long they last. A second, not more. And now we're going to be seeing the Cyclones and Vikings continue to get to work here. Hellbats getting in front, dealing sword. I mean, this is just over, guys. GuMiho has way too much army, and we are getting a second ace match in a row. We're going to a Game 7 for the second time this evening in this series, and then we're actually going to do a little bit of marbles for about an hour or so. So we'll see what's up. What's up, Shamsy? Thank you so much for the 4 months. We actually had another sub come through while I was having some issues. That was MBK1011. Thank you so much for the 18-month free sub, the year and a half. Here's some love on the chat for the resubs, guys. And Nozneb as well with the 3-month free sub too. Thank you for the resubscriptions. Good to see you all. Thank you so much for coming back in. Do appreciate it. As we have the top left Bunny, to the bottom right GuMiho. Game 7 of this best of 7 ace match time. Yeah, sorry for those issues, guys. Don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. On the plus side, if it's something based on my internet, I should be moving soon. I'm probably going to cast from the studio here, the office space, for the next, probably until like the new year, roughly. Then I'm probably going to completely move out of here and cast from my apartment, so that'd be cool. But I still don't have my apartment, so I haven't even been able to start testing and get internet set up yet. But yeah, hello, if you're still out there, good to have you. Just as we get this game started up, there's a couple of things I've been saying throughout the day. This is day 1 out of 51 days we're going to be aiming to stream on for the rest of this year. There are 56 days left in this year, and I think it's 56 days. Hang on, let me check. Days left this year. It's like 50... there's like 56 days left this year, and we're aiming to cast and 51 of them. The other 5 days I'm traveling for Home Story Cup. So we're aiming to stream pretty much every day is the goal for the rest of the year. So we're going to be doing that. Obviously, I'm going to be live tomorrow, similar time. Thursday, we're going to be live a bit earlier in the day with Kung Fu Cup, and in the evening, we're going to do some ladder and variety stuff. Friday, we're going to be doing some stuff throughout the day. Saturday will be the broadcast of this again in the evening. Sunday will be Go for SE2, maybe some variety stuff in the evening. Hope the flat has good soundproofing. Don't want to be the noisy neighbor. Well, the only connected surface I have with anybody is the floor. So, I mean, in my personal experience, and I mean, this might just be me, but in my personal experience, when I've had issues here, for example, and in other places, people, you know, hearing through a floor and only a floor is, you know, sound doesn't travel that much, especially when it's just me talking, right? Like, it's very difficult to hear people like through a fucking ceiling, you know. It's very difficult to hear people because there's a lot of gaps. There's no shared walls, that sort of stuff. So, honestly, it should be completely fine in terms of noise. The only issue I can imagine is if like the windows are open maybe and I'm casting and like the sound comes from outside. Like, I really don't think it's going to be an issue. Like, if there's only a floor, I do not see my voice while I'm casting being like a massive issue through the floor. You know. I mean, everyone else streams from their apartments. This is what. See, my parents, my mum especially, really struggled to understand this. Like, she was always like, well, you can't ever cast from your, somewhere you live, right? Because, people are gonna hear you. Like, well, I mean, literally everyone I know casts from where they live, or streams from where they live. It's just a fake. Like, you're allowed to talk in your rooms that you live in, right? I know sometimes I get a bit excited, a bit loud, but yeah, I don't know. It's very manageable, I think. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's fine. Like, if the sound goes through the floor, I genuinely be amazed. I just don't think it's gonna happen. Anyways, this TVT is off and away. It's game 7 of this matchup. Again, sorry that we had a little bit of issues coming into this, guys. Obviously never fun to sit and hang out, but the fact that 350, 400 of you were waiting for us to come back is awesome alone, so thank you so much for sticking around while the issues got sorted. And here we are now to wrap this up. Again, we're going to be doing a little bit of marbles after this for maybe about an hour. I actually wanted this to be a 5-hour stream, so it might become a 5.5-hour stream. We'll definitely do 30 to 60 minutes of marbles after this and test out some of the new maps and some of that sort of stuff. So, we're going to be doing marbles on Mondays, actually, and we're going to be setting up a little marble thing. I'll let you guys know more about that in the near future. As I do just get set up though right now into this game 7. A couple of Hellions popping out. GuMiho, couple Cyclones here as well. This Raven is about to finish up. And we do see these couple of missile turrets from GuMiho also about to be ready to kind of help defend, but there isn't actually anything to defend against. It's just, I guess they're kind of setting up to kind of deflect a Raven actually. So I guess it actually does work. They're not cloaked Banshee missile turrets, which would be more kind of in the mineral lines. They're looking to really stop a Raven flying in, dropping auto turrets and flying out for free. Parasite, once again, the 7th map of this series. Not a surprise, Parasite's probably the weirdest map of entire map pools now at the moment. Back healing, a little bit of healing. Looks as though Bunny going to get a little bit of a push across the map here. The early game has left GuMiho 4 to 6 workers ahead, but down on Army just slightly. If we look at the unit count, well, there's a Raven up from GuMiho, but it does have less energy. Otherwise, it's 2 tanks for Bunny against 1 of GuMiho. The Viking count is the same. You can see 10 Marines against 2 in this fight as well. And actually, GuMiho's 2 Hellions and 2 Cyclones are out on the map, so that's a little bit concerning. As this looks as though it's going to be a drop, maybe just straight into the natural, or he just wants to unload here and fire across to the... that would be weird, though. If you fire across it, you don't really hit anything. Could drop into the main base. Looks as though that's where it's going to be, so here we go. Bunny unloading in the main base. These 2 Cyclones and Hellions pulled back. I mean, there's not much they could do pushing forward there, apart from maybe cancel the 3rd base. Auto turrets drop down from both players. The Vikings win out for GuMiho. And he does kill off 1 tank already, though. 15 SCVs have gone down from GuMiho. Wow, okay, well, Bunny's starting to get quite a lot of damage done here. Vikings making another kill. That tank gets picked off, though. The last few Marines going down. The Vikings will make a cleanup here in the end. GuMiho lost 16 workers, but is only 7 workers behind. That was the position he was just in. So kind of going into this. He was so ahead on economy. Bunny had to get something done. Now ByuN is ahead on economy, but now it's the other way around. ByuN has the eco lead, but GuMiho has the army supply. GuMiho's own third base lifts up to move into position, will be landing, and both bases will be mining at a pretty similar timing here. So GuMiho has the army supply going into this mech style. Once again, +1 vehicle weapons, +1 vehicle plating against 1/1 infantry upgrades. Bio versus mech. ByuN versus GuMiho, Game 7 here. And the elimination match in the lower bracket of this tournament. So a little bit of an army over here. Vikings from GuMiho trying to fly around, see what they can do. Even if they just get in, land, and pick off some SCVs, this like Viking squad can do surprisingly well. Even if it just runs into a unit or two over here, right? Probably knows he has the advantage after killing the Vikings in the last fight in the medevacs, and so he's probably pretty aware of that. And he's actually going to bring 2 Cyclones and 2 tanks, so he's actually going to make a real push out of this. Well, he does have the numbers going into this, but well, the Vikings didn't target the medevac fully. So he just drops off on the third base in the end. The high ground vision is there for GuMiho. He will come in and he will be able to clean out those tanks on the high ground. Now these tanks in the background are pretty annoying as well. Now the Vikings are going to land too. I'm not sure about that because these Marines are really going to be able to clean those up. And, well, 3 workers going down. There's still a Cyclone, 2 Cyclones in the main base. He kills 5 workers, but it felt like GuMiho lost a lot of army supply there. Didn't quite feel that I was quite how it was meant to go. 5 workers. Brings the work count down to even-ish again. GuMiho a slight lead, but he is down an army because, again, he traded a lot for just 5 workers there. Although, I mean, I say just for 5 workers, he also got a couple of tanks here and there for a couple of tanks. Those Marines do manage to finish off that medevac as well, no escaping. Now ByuN and GuMiho are just on their own sides of the map, a moment or two here to build up. I mean, overall, I kind of like it for ByuN. He's got the army supply to start moving around the map and apply pressure. Parasite's such a large map that for bio against mech, it's very good because you have a lot of different pathways to use, and you should always be able to have a counterattack ready for when the mech player starts pushing. On some maps you might be able to counterattack, but you might not ever slow the mech army down enough for it to matter, and they'll still just overrun you at home. But in this map, you counterattack, you can have so much time to set up a defense at home and stuff like that. It can go a long, long way. And as we are going to be seeing ByuN coming down the right-hand side. GuMiho is setting up with a couple of tanks here on the far right, and SCV up on the high ground as well. The Marine stim forwards, and that first SCV does drop on down a scan. Part of GuMiho was maybe just unaware of what this was, or wanted to see if this was going to be a continued effort with the drop. You know, if these Marines had lifted up into those medevacs there and gone down to the south, obviously that could have had a bit of an effect. You can appreciate the colors aren't the easiest to see right now, guys. Blue against teal in the TVT. At least it's bio versus mech. Apologies. I mean, I can't really do anything about it. We got given these replays by Frank, so, you know, I wasn't in the game to tell them at the time. Just going to have to deal with it. I can tell you right now, though, these are GuMiho's Hellions approaching this 4th base, and that will slow this down. SCVs were just about to start long-distance mining here. And, well, these Marines going to be taking some hits. Some Hellions will get out. The rest of ByuN's army out on the map. And these Hellions are still moving around. They're going to get into a 3rd base mineral line with SCVs ready to be roasted. This is starting to turn into quite a little bit of damage from these few Hellions that didn't look like they were going to get so much done. 7 workers go down for 400 minerals of Hellions. It's a hell of a good trade. Obviously, Hellions are very, you know, disposable as a mech player. SCVs are never disposable. Well, in some circumstances they are, but that's always going to be a good trade. SCVs for Hellions. Bit of a fight going on as Hellions to the right side. Now if Blue Flames are even better at cleaning up those SCVs. 11 workers have now gone down in recent times as GuMiho will move his own command center towards the 4th. Finally just finishing his own 4th base up, so the command center expansion timing is staying pretty similar between the players at the moment. Just gonna see the CC of GuMiho moving down, and we'll land in a moment or so. 4 more Vikings on the way out here from ByuN. +1 vehicle weapons, 2 attack upgrades, and we do see a few more Cyclones also on the way out. Tanks just gathering together next to the sensor tower. Everything getting there set and ready to go. What's up, Clock Bash? Thank you so much for the 3-month free sub. How you doing? No way! What's no way? What happened? What can't you believe? Thanks so much for the 3 months, do appreciate it. Fusion Core coming down from Bunny in the main base. A couple more Vikings on the way up, a couple of Cyclones on the way out. More Hellions coming in as well. As you do see, 4 more Liberators just still being cranked on out here. So a bunch more Libs coming out, Marines coming down the right-hand side. Army here and looking to see what's happening is you just see a little bit of damage being done here and there. Rapid fire coming up for those Cyclones. A big drop from GuMiho, just looking for openings, although this Viking count from Bunny pretty serious. Again, we've mentioned in the last game a little bit more about how that air control can be so important. GuMiho's got an army straight up the center, though. This army around the right of Bunny is not immediately in a good position to do much. These Vikings are completely out of position too. Empty medevacs down in the corner as Hellions do make their way up the left-hand side. Oh man, I'm actually a little bit worried here for Bunny because, again, he just feels like he's got army which is completely out of position. Here we go, GuMiho moving forwards, and he's got the high ground between all of the bases. This is going to be a little bit of an issue here as the tanks will set up. Hellions pushing down as well, the Marauders, the Marines not doing much. If we go with a couple of these pushes forwards, but I mean, even these aren't looking to do too much at the moment. On the low ground over here, I mean, this orbital's going to be in a lot of trouble. GuMiho lost a lot of units over here. They're just rallying forwards into these Marines. This is just a mistake from him more than anything else. He pulled SCVs into that fight too. Very careless. I mean, it doesn't really take much, and there's not much going on over here for him to look at right away. Feels like that is a bit careless as we see the CC. And he's still just rallying Cyclones out here without attack movement or anything. I mean, you would have thought he'd noticed a little bit sooner. GuMiho still has the attack aggressive position here, which I feel is just so powerful. Cyclones get rid of a Liberator very quickly. This base is going down pretty swiftly as well. In fact, the orbital will just drop. Bunny distracted elsewhere. That one siege tank is now surrounded by SCVs, so it will end up going down. Marines fighting here too, but now the Cyclone count is good enough to clean up pretty much anything that's on the other side. The only thing that's really an issue here is Bunny's Liberators, but the Cyclones here to deal with that as well. If the Vikings land, they're not going to be able to do all too much, and GuMiho is held on at home. He has to work a lead as here we go, the Cyclones get rid of the first Liberators, but there's more Liberators here, but now the Cyclones can't deal with that. The Vikings land and the tanks will take some damage. Hellbats and Cyclones help them where they can. Hellbats from the left side, Cyclones will have another lock-on, and they will split their lock-ons between the two different Liberators. 2 tanks remain, a few Hellbats as well. Overall, though, GuMiho has more reinforcements. I just don't think you stop the extra Cyclones from coming across the map at this stage, as we are going to be seeing GuMiho with just a little bit too much here. And he will perform the reverse sweep for ByuN and the kids. That's going to be a GG as you see the Cyclones pushing up the ramp. Liberail go down. GG's, and GuMiho takes game number 7. And boom, GuMiho will close it out. What a turnaround, as nobody could take him down today apart from Impact in the first time they played.